People often think that dementia units are depressing places, but actually it's the opposite. Dementia units are filled with kindness. Staff that work there can only work there if they're kind. There's plenty of other places they could be working. They're working there because they want to work there and they wish to work there, not because they have to. And it's that kindness of spirit and kindness and charity of attitude which enables them to sustain their work in the long term, because it's very challenging working at a dementia unit. It's physically demanding, emotionally challenging, and unless you've got that kindness of character, which gives you a certain strength, it will be very difficult to sustain it in the long term. If you don't like working there, if you haven't got that kindness, really, you're not going to last long in a dementia facility, because day in, day out is an Olympic effort for staff working in dementia facilities. The amount of work they have to do right from the minute they step in the door, from 7 o'clock right through to 3:30 every day. It's like a colossal routine. And it's not just pressure for, an hour a day or a day a week. It's pressure all the time, because they have, 8, sometimes 9 residents to look after. All the cares for a start, with the showering and the dressing and the hair washing and the bed making. I mean, that would be enough as it is. Then they've got to serve all the meals. That's a big task, tidy up from all the meals. Then morning and afternoon tea, the showering, the dressing, the toileting every 2 hours. Then, of course, if someone falls or there's a disturbance, there's always things going on, extra things amidst it. So unless the person has a charitable spirit, a kindness and a caring attitude where they care for the residents, staff in dementia units, especially long-term staff, care for the dementia residents. They just could not stay otherwise. And there's many staff that stay for a long level of time in a dementia facility, some for 5, 6, 7 years, amazing amount of time, even 10, but many 3 years, and that in itself is a long time as well. And of course, when they're long-term carers, they get to know the residents, they get to know their ways, they get to know their idiosyncrasies, and sometimes the dementia residents will communicate with their main carer and not to anyone else, even maybe relatives, if they're not regular visitors and they haven't seen them for a long time. They develop that connection with the carer. And the primary carer takes a pride in this, that they can work with their resident. They know what they like to eat at meal times. They know what they do and don't like in terms of, going to sleep, what they like to wear, what they prefer, where they prefer to sit in the day. All those little but important things the carer knows. And so, of course, the resident gets to know that this carer is kind and caring, knowing their little ways and important things for them. So that develops connection. And it's a give and take. It's a win-win. It's a giving situation where that givingness and that receivingness, it creates a positive energy and a buoyancy. Whenever you give, you'll receive. We know that. But in a dementia unit, sometimes there can be a lot of giving going on before you get the receiving end of the stick. So you have to have quite a lot of patience and tolerance until that time comes. But it will. It will. If you give enough to a resident in a considerate, caring way, definitely in time you'll get the response, unless someone's really escalated right up into a constant high state of anger, for example. I mean, that's the exception to the rule, but generally kindness, care and consideration, those extra little things for your dementia resident, they will receive that and will return that in kind, whether it's a smile or whether it's, maybe they haven't smiled for a long time, so that smile's worth a lot when you get it. Or they may, maybe eye contact, and sometimes, incredibly, even with those dementia residents who are aphasic and speak little, on occasions they remember your name, which is a real treat. And staff take this to be a badge of honour when a dementia resident remembers their name and not anyone else's in the unit. So, you know, it's all a bit of fun, that level of it. But basically, staff work incredibly hard, are very kind, caring, considerate people. And because of that, they create a positive energy at the unit. There's definitely a positive atmosphere at a dementia unit because of that positivity and kindness and care that the staff have for residents and the return that the residents show for the staff. I mean, initially, when you go into the unit, if you are disorientated, you know nothing about it, you're not connected with anyone, you don't know the goings on, then it can be a bit disorientating and confusing. You may not experience it as being that positive because maybe you're distressed as well that your relative's gone into the unit. But once your relative settles, once you're orientated, once you get to know people, that's when the warmth will start to come. People will extend themselves to you, and especially as a regular visitor, you always get the special treatment as a regular visitor. All the carers will know you, the nurses will know you, you'll get that special smile. Hello, how are you? How's your day been? Do you want a cup of tea? Would you like a special piece of cake that's left over from, you know, last night? All the extras, you know, do you want a toasted sandwich, this or that? When you're a regular, just like anywhere you go when you're a regular, all the special treats are there. So it's worth the effort, and it's a community, and a nice one at that. So I've written on these topics the 2 books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, both on Amazon, and my website description below. So thank you for your viewing and your likes and your comments, and please subscribe and pass on the links to those working with dementia who you think would be interested. Thank you.